Hi, everyone. It's Mr. Rosas again with United to Learn, here to bring you the next installment in our social, emotional, and mindfulness series. The title of today's video is Just Breathe, Interrupting the Stress Response. Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. Now, I want you to pause the video now and maybe read this quote again and discuss with your family what this means to you right now. And at the end of the video, I invite you to come back to this quote and see if your relationship to it has changed or expanded, okay? Now, do you ever feel like your thoughts are spinning out of control? Like you always do or say the wrong thing at the wrong time? Like this poor little hamster stuck on a wheel of anxious thoughts or angry thoughts or sad thoughts, and you cannot make it stop. I have, and I still do. And one of the best tools that I've discovered to stop that spinning wheel is to pause and do mindful breathing. In the previous video, I showed you this animation to explain to you the stress response cycle. So something happens and that information goes to your amygdala. And if your amygdala is super strong and super active, it's gonna go straight into reaction mode. You're gonna freak out. You're gonna go into that fight, flight, or freeze response. This type of stress response is very helpful when you are literally in a life and death situation. Maybe you're in a building that has caught on fire. Maybe you're running away from a rabid dog, or you're just trying to save somebody's life. That's when this is appropriate because you don't have time to think. You have to act fast, right? But when we're used to reacting this way and we do that to things that are just mildly stressful, that's when we start going into unhealthy territory. Now, what we want is, yes, we want to take life as it is, stressful and scary and all. We want that information to go to the amygdala, but we want to create some space so that our brain can have time to activate that prefrontal cortex and we can take better choices. And that pause is going to be our mindful breathing. If you can stop and do mindful breathing in the middle of a stressful situation, not a dangerous one, just a stressful situation, we have time to turn on the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex goes to the amygdala and says, hey, let me see that information. Let me see what's going on. I'll give it back to you. Don't worry. And it analyzes it, and it comes to the conclusion that this is not life and death. It's fine. It's a little sticky, stressful, but we got it. So it tells the amygdala, hey, relax. We've got this. Here's the plan. And the prefrontal cortex offers us various choices as to how to handle the situation in the healthiest way possible. And when we have choices, we feel empowered, right? And so that is the power of the pause and the power of the mindful breath. Now, how do we do this mindful breathing, right? Mindful breathing can be done anywhere, anytime, if you only focus on your breath. That's all we're focusing on. The inhale, the exhale, and the sensations involved. The feeling of the air as it sort of rubs through your nostrils, your inside, okay? The temperature of the breath, the inflation and deflation of your chest to your ribs and your tummy, right? That's mindful breathing. It's like we take the spotlight from our anxiety that's up here in the brain, in our mind, and we shift it to anywhere the breath takes place, okay? Now, how do we do this? There's three key points to mindful breathing. The first one is posture. We want to be upright, because if we're leaning back, front or back, we might fall asleep. This is not per se relaxation time. We want our brain to be active and working. We're just working on shifting the attention down to the area where we breathe, okay? Hands can be on the lap, on the tummy, on the chest, as long as they're not distracting you. We don't want to do this while we do mindful breathing, and we want to close our eyes. Now, the feet grounded. If you're sitting or standing, make sure your feet are still like tree trunks, like a mountain. We don't want to do this. Even if you don't reach the ground, just make sure you don't swing your feet. That's a distraction. You can even sit crisscross applesauce on the ground, on a sofa, or on a cushion. And let's get to our breath, the good part. We want a slow, deliberate breath. We want to receive it in a soft belly, and we want our exhales to be longer than our inhales. For example, if it takes me 4 counts to breathe in, then let's try to push it out in 6. Okay? And for this demonstration, I'm going to use my hands to show you what I call riding the wave of your breath. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes, my posture's straight, and I'm going to start breathing. So as I inhale, I go up. And as I exhale, I go down slowly. And you practice that, and you can choose what area of your breath you connect to the most today. It changes. Maybe today you feel it more on your nostrils, so you shine that line on your nostrils, that mind spotlight. Or maybe you feel it on your chest, you connect to that rising and falling of your chest. You shine the light there. Or maybe your tummy, you feel that softness of your stomach as you receive and expel the breath. Or maybe you just want to follow it like the breath is a butterfly in its journey in and out of your body. You choose what is best for you at that moment. Your mind is going to want to pull you back up the elevator into those anxious thoughts, and you might go back there during your mindful breathing. No big deal. Once you realize that you're back up in the hamster wheel, you have the power to choose to go back to your breath as many times as necessary. So maybe right now, why don't you pause the video, and you can even use the hand gesture of riding the wave to help you today, and try it with your family. Maybe set a timer for a minute and focus on that breath. Choose where you want to anchor: nostrils, chest, tummy, or in the entire journey. And remember, it's okay if you drift back up, just come back down. And then discuss, how do you feel? Do you feel any different? Do you feel different, and how? You might not feel anything the first time, but let's go ahead and try it, okay? Now, assuming that you did pause the video and that we're moving on, I'm gonna talk about when to practice. Ideally, you want this to become a habit, something that you do regularly. You can start twice a week, then bump it up to 3, then to 4, maybe up to 5. Time-wise, you can start with 3 minutes or 5, and then just bump it up. And you're gonna get out of it as much as you put into it, right? It's like going to the gym. If you go once a month, you can't expect to see any results anytime soon, right? The more that you practice, the better you'll get at it. And it's not a magic trick to fix your life. It's not going to solve every problem, but it's going to help you deal with it in a healthier way. So families, parents, you can start on a calendar, maybe circle the proposed days of when you as a family are going to sit down and do mindful breathing, and check it off when you're done, okay? Also, you can do this in the middle of an episode of high emotions. For example, when you feel a strong emotion coming, and you know it's coming because you think something which causes a not like a sticky emotion, like an unpleasant emotion, and then that emotion triggers unpleasant sensations, flushing of the face, clenching of the jaw, lump in your throat, butterflies in your tummy. Once you feel those early signs, that's when you can pause and take a breath. Parents, this is great in the middle of the day, whether you're at work or home, and you start feeling that pressure build up and you're about to, react, do that amygdala reaction. Just stop and breathe, count to 10, give that prefrontal cortex time to activate and to start soothing you, okay? So I hope this video was helpful. There's plenty more videos to come and more about different types of meditation, guided meditations, and I'm just very excited to keep sharing this with you. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. Remember to go back to the quote and compare if there's any changes to what you thought of it. And I will see you next time. All right, bye.